Greetings. Today we continue Daniel's explanation of truth, part 3, section 2. We're in Daniel 11:16. Second part of the verse says, "And he shall stand in the land of the glory," or beauty, "and it shall completely finish by means of his particular hand." As a result, this king of the north direction now stood in the beautiful land which God had chosen for himself. And they still suffered economically consumed and desolated instead of being free. So verse 17 says, "And he shall set his particular face to enter in all strength of his particular kingdom, and he shall do a straight one with him." So this means, having put Egypt into submission, instead of continuing there to complete his mission, he turned his attention to conquering the regions toward Rome, which had been previously ruled by Seleucus Nicator. This is the meaning of the phrase, "And he shall set his particular face to enter in all strength of his kingdom." The King James Version uses the word "upright ones," and it is again a reference to those of Daniel's people who were described in verse 14 as robbers. Judah and Syria are promised to the king of the south, Ptolemy, as a dowry for taking Cleopatra as wife. "And he shall try to give him a daughter of the wives for the purpose of to corrupt her thoroughly, and she certainly may not remain beside him, and she is not being to him." Antiochus thought this marriage would ensure the neutrality of Egypt as he waged his campaign against the Roman kingdom. But in the long run, Antiochus thought giving Cleopatra to be a wife of the ruler of Egypt would gain him power without violence. However, Cleopatra stood with her husband and thus thwarted the intentions of her father in the long run. This is the meaning of the phrase, "She shall not stand on his side." So Daniel 11:18 says, "And he shall turn back again his particular face unto the islands, and he shall seize many himself, and he shall cause to stop a ruler of their reproach. However, his reproach it shall turn back again," or return to him. Antiochus, pushing westward toward the Italian peninsula with its islands from Greece, he was approaching Rome by inflicting his allies. However, in 190 BC, Antiochus was defeated by a Roman general named Lucius Scipio Estaticus at Magnesia. This Roman general had no personal stake in the conflict, and thus it is said that this prince caused the reproach to cease, and that he did it on his own behalf. That is, for his own glory, to make a name for himself. So verse 19 says, "And he shall turn back again his particular face under the strength of his particular land, and he shall become weakened, and he shall fall himself and shall not be discovered." So Antiochus, being defeated, was forced to give up all the territory he had conquered west of the Tarshish mountains. Antiochus was required to repay the cost of the war. He fortified his remaining cities, but he was killed by his own soldiers because of an insurrection among the inhabitants of Elymais. Antiochus had gone into the temple and attempted to steal valuables from it. Whether he simply needed money to pay tribute to Rome, that is 1,000 talents, or did it just to show them spite, is not clearly known.